Alexa, let's chat. Welcome to this week's episode of Emora Demonstration. Emora is a conversational AI-based chatbot developed by Emory University. My name is Gino Choi, and I'm an assistant professor of computer science.
My name is Sarah Finch, and I'm a second-year Ph.D. student in computer science.
And I'm James Finch, also a second-year Ph.D. student.
So we just got done with a big step, right?
We did.
Yeah.
We actually just finished the internal review period where Amazon employees were the ones talking to our bot.
Mm-hmm.
So it started on October 30th and ended on November 29th, so exactly for 1 month.
Right.
Right.
But time flies when you're having fun, right? Feels short.
Exactly. How did we do?
We did pretty well. We started off a little rocky near the bottom of the 10 teams, but by the end I actually reached all the way up to third place.
Yeah, so in the beginning, we didn't have as many of our components integrated, but after integrating some things that we had from last year's competition, as well as making some improvements, we got a pretty good placing, I think.
So this is the graph that we have. So initially we started pretty bad. We are like one of the bottom 3. And on the 16th, that's when we actually start integrating all our new components. And we start improving ourselves. And at the end, we end up with a third place. So we are in the okay standing. Obviously, we want to do much better than now.
Yeah, we hope to steal first, of course.
Right. Yes. Thumbs up. So Sarah, do you want to talk about some of the low rating conversations?
Yeah, so obviously we were looking through all of the conversations and the ratings that we were getting as we were getting conversations with our bot. And one thing that we really noticed was that people tended to react negatively if Emora, our bot, did not seem to understand what they were saying or what path they wanted to go down in terms of the conversation. But instead of acknowledging that, she instead tried to suggest something random.
Something completely random.
Right.
Yeah.
And on other turns, we actually had it where Emora would acknowledge maybe that she needed you to repeat yourself or to say something more that she could understand. And people actually continued the conversation in those cases instead of just ending it immediately.
Right.
You can see that even if, the social bot makes a mistake, people respond really positively to at least some acknowledgement, even if the perfect understanding isn't there.
Right. It's just like a human conversation, right? It's even if you didn't really fully understand, if you acknowledge your not understanding, then you can still make a good conversation out of it instead of doing something completely random, which is not human-like. And if you have friends who are doing that, you can tell them that you're doing something like chatbots do. What about the ones with the high ratings?
So you could definitely tell that when our chatbot got high ratings from users, it was sort of because the users either were really interested in usually talking about movies because that's our main component that we have, but also if they maybe have an interest in chatbots and they're sort of more willing to take the suggestions that the chatbot is giving, and they don't give so many unexpected phrases, then they seem to really like what they hear and have a good conversation.
Right. So our goal is obviously to have the as positive experience as possible to the users, and this competition is gonna go until like all the way to next April. So we still have a long way to go.
Right.
One thing that we did notice is how long are our conversations right now?
Honestly, they average about 1.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Less than that,
long,
Right,
yeah.
which is very short, especially considering the actual speed of the chatbot's speech is somewhat slow compared to a human, so it's not a lot of time.
So that actually practically means it's not getting by too many components. It's not talking about so many topics. After opening, that already consumes at least like 30 seconds to a minute. So
Right.
it actually ends up talking to one other component pretty much.
So basically what we have is an actual component in our system architecture dedicated for kind of doing the intro, like, hey, how are you? And then sort of trying to find out what the user wants to talk about. But this component alone, as Gino just said, it makes up a lot of the time when you're only working with about a minute in the full conversation length.
So this is a very important because as even when human to human talks, right, the initiation is the hardest thing. if you
Right.
think about it.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't know the person so well.
Right.
How you initiate the conversation decides how long you can actually talk to this person, oftentimes. So we are gonna demonstrate our opening component, which actually does slightly better than what we used to do. Obviously, we are gonna have even better version next week because we just updated a new version to the beta, which we are not showing here today. So shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. Alexa, open Atlanta chatbot.
Hi, this is an Alexa Prize social bot. What can I call you?
Mike,
Good evening, Mike. I like your name. How is your day going today?
it's going fantastic.
Glad to hear your evening is going well. So, what made you happy today, Mike?
I just bought a big house.
That sounds cool. Thanks, Mike. So, what do you want to ask me today?
Let's talk about movies.
Okay, I can tell you movie plot and reviews, fetch ratings from Rotten Tomatoes, check for fresh movies in the theaters, and more. So, tell me, what was the last movie you liked?
Goodbye.
It was nice talking to you. Goodbye.
Would you call that successful?
I think that was pretty successful.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So that's our opening. It's making some chit chat at the beginning and ask you how you have been doing, and it's making some response. And if you actually have seen our first episode about the introduction episode, the conversation we failed to do, the famous phrase, "I bought a new house," he was able to respond to it pretty responsibly.
Yeah, and this is sort of the direction we want to go in, right? Is we want to be able to understand what the user says, especially the things that have some sort of emotional implication, like buying a house, or even tragic events like your grandma dying. I think is our other famous example that we try out. We want to be able to actually respond to that with the appropriate sentiment.
So let's see if the second example, our famous example, "My grandma died," actually works or not. Alexa, open Atlanta chatbot.
Hi, this is an Alexa Prize social bot. What can I call you?
David,
Good evening, Evie. I like your name. How is your day going today?
it's not going so well.
Glad to hear your evening is going well. So, what made you happy today, Evie?
It's not going so well.
Glad to hear, Evie. Anything interests you today?
Stop.
It was nice talking to you. Goodbye.
So there we actually had a failure of understanding.
So that was unexpected. This is live demo. So.
I mean, so why did that happen, though?
I mean, so the idea of the demo that we just showed was basically that we were giving her that we were having a bad day.
Uh-huh.
We were expecting her to say back something like, "I'm sorry to hear that," or, "I hope I can make your day better." But instead, she seemed to probably pick out the sentiment analysis part of actually understanding how you felt was incorrect. She heard "I'm doing well" instead of "I'm not doing well."
So it's not handling the negation.
Right.
Right. It must
Right.
be
Well,
that.
very
Yeah,
nuanced.
and it's also very likely, actually, that it's the speech recognition. So that's actually translating the speech sound waves into the natural language text. That's probably the most likely point of failure. I mean, it is.
So it can be
noisy.
likely either the failure from the sentiment analyzer or the speech recognition.
Right.
So we have to check. Let's just try to demo the one that we think will be successfully done. So this is good. Alexa, open Atlanta chatbot.
Hi, this is an Alexa Prize social bot. What can I call you?
Jane,
Good evening, Jane. I like your name. How is your day going today?
it's terrible.
Oh, really? That sounds bad. What happened to your evening today, Jane?
My grandma just died.
I hope I can make you feel better. Can you tell me something you enjoy, Jane?
I did not enjoy.
So let's discuss something else. I am fascinated with the world. Are you interested in travel?
Goodbye.
It was nice talking to you. Goodbye.
So it seemed to handle my grandma died pretty well because he recognized there was a negative sentiment and say something, I'm sorry, along with the line. But still, the problem was how to make out after that.
Right. Yeah. So the conversational depth, once it understood that you weren't having a good day, of actually talking about the bad day is not, it wasn't able to make a very meaningful conversation about that. It did sort of gracefully, suggest the new topic of travel to cheer you up. But
Right.
we really want to get this conversational depth to be as good as possible. Yeah, as good as possible.
Right.
We don't want the transition, because that transition honestly felt a little abrupt. That you had
Right.
just shared that your grandma died. Okay, let's immediately talk about travel.
Right.
We want more of a smooth, kind of gradual shift in topic, because that would feel more natural. And
Right.
you probably would feel happier at the end of that.
Right. And this kind of randomness is probably one of the major factor of this conversation could have been low rated, right? So,
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But overall, we're making progress towards actually understanding more of the social aspects of conversation. And yeah,
definitely.
hope
And even like right now, we actually have a better component for the opening too. So it's not on the live, so we cannot demo right now. But maybe we can show that next time.
Right.
Yeah. People can talk to Emma right now, right?
Yes, actually, anyone can talk to Emora that has an Alexa device. You can just invoke the Let's Chat skill, and you'll actually be given to one of the 10 teams, but theoretically, over multiple turns of talking to this skill, you would get Emora eventually.
So it's 1 out of 10 chance?
So it's you are given to a random bot, but it's not perfectly a 1 out of 10 chance to get each bot. They actually weight the probability of you connecting to a certain bot based on how well it's actually doing in the competition, which essentially just means that you're slightly more likely to connect to a bot that's actually doing better at conversation.
So the better the rating is, the more chance the bot gets, right?
Right.
So I guess Amazon want to give the best experience to users, so they will promote more for the bots that's getting higher rates.
For sure. Yeah.
Encourage people to come back and talk to more bots
Yeah.
by having
Right.
a good experience. Yeah.
Yeah, so please try out. All the teams are working really hard to make this as best as possible.
Right.
Even if you don't have an Echo, you still can download the Alexa app on your mobile phone.
Or
and-
even in the Amazon shopping app, if you do the little voice chat, you can invoke the skills that way too.
Okay, okay, that sounds good. So please try out and see how well we are doing. We as a whole group are doing. That's it for today's episode. We talked about the opening component. And in the following episode, we're going to introduce a lot more exciting features.
Sure.
Remember, Emora,
Cares.
For
you. Bye.